people turned to stare. I scowled. How many complimentary shots would it take to forget why we were here tonight? I was determined to find out. By the second shot, I'd managed to secure a coveted spot at the counter, and by the third, I watched as the employees swapped shifts to finish out the night, the old bartender tapping in a younger guy with a manicured mustache and really tight pants. The newcomer acted like he couldn't hear me on my first couple attempts at ordering a buttery nipple shot. He bowed his head toward mine, his comb-over silhouetted by the Edison bulbs and the blue and purple lights gleaming off the subway tile backsplash. I leaned closer to speak into his ear, and now he was getting an eyeful of my boobs. While he bent to grab the butterscotch schnapps from the bottom shelf, I hooked my thumbs under the straps of my corset top and hiked it up for more coverage. I'd dressed for pictures, but already I was regretting it, because I'd sincerely rather there was no evidence of me being here tonight, and preferably no memory while we were at it. The bartender was sliding me my fourth shot, and I was debating ordering something stronger when a delicate hand with immaculate red nails darted in front of me. Joe stamped my buttery nipple shot on the counter before tossing it back, then pretended to retch. "Ah, that tastes like something my grandma would order." I shook my head, folding my arms against the counter. The whole bar top was made of scuffed-up resin with vintage LA Times newspapers sealed inside, headlines about Clark Gable and the moon landing and the 1994 Northridge quake. If I knew you were going to steal it, I would have ordered a tequila shot. Joe's red lips parted in a winning smile. That was her signature color, that classic Bordeaux red. "I'm pretty sure my maid of honor is contractually obligated to do a tequila shot with me anyway." I was inclined to agree, but not because I had anything to celebrate. I hated weddings. By extension, bridal parties ranked pretty high on my list of things that were best left to corny romantic comedies and trashy reality TV like Say Yes to the Dress. Mercifully, it wasn't my engagement we were supposed to be toasting to. But it was my best friend's engagement, and she'd asked me to be the maid of honor, which meant I was pretty central to any and all wedding activities, including tonight's little announcement. I couldn't have been persuaded to grin and bear it for anyone else, but Joe was a special case. "2 shots of Casadoras," I told the bartender when he finally decided to acknowledge my cleavage again. "With lime? And do you have any salt shakers around here?" He tore his eyes from my boobs and gave me a blank look. "Or margarita salt? I'm not picky."
"What does this look like, a sorority party?" he deadpanned.
I'm gonna be honest here, not really in the mood to be negged by a guy with Buddy Holly glasses and a handlebar mustache.
"Real original. Haven't heard that one before."
Either the flashing blue and purple lights were causing me to hallucinate, or there were cartoon mustaches printed all over his shirt, a short-sleeved button-down that, up to this point, I had assumed was covered in black blobs and that maybe he was channeling his inner Cruella de Vil. But no, those were definitely mustaches, and they definitely looked like the one that was already on his face. "Can you actually remember the last time you listened to music that wasn't Tame Impala?" He pointed at the overhead speakers.
"Right now? There is literally music playing right now."
As though to drive the point home, the song changed to Gasolina by Daddy Yankee. "Just pour the drinks and I'll leave a good tip," I said, trying not to sound too exasperated as I held out my wristband for the 5th time in a row. "There should be a comped tab under Anderson." With an eye roll that looked almost painful, he turned his back on us and grabbed a bottle from the middle shelf. A part of me couldn't fault him for his irritation. It had to be annoying, people waltzing into your work every week, brandishing orange VIP bands and demanding everything for free. These clubs were always hosting some promotional event or another, emo night or 90s throwbacks or whatever else they could come up with to draw tourists and locals alike. Tonight, aspiring actors and musicians and every other brand of LA hopeful were packed into the Blue Room, all under the guise of Influencer Friday. But whatever the bartender's distaste for influencers, I wanted to get drunk. I would have happily paid for